How much training would be required to last the distance on the Cycle4Change?
Do you want to know how much training is required or how much did we do before the event, Justin? No, I would say you would probably want to be riding at least twice a week for about 3 months leading up to the event to be comfortable. But if you're like Justin and I, you can just do half of that and just suffer for 4 days straight. What does a typical day on the road look like?
Generally speaking, we'll probably hit the road for a good hour and a half, couple of hours, get a bit of K's under the belt, and then we'll stop somewhere nice, take in the surroundings, have somewhere that we then aim for lunch, and then it's a cruise back to home base basically after that. What was your experience like riding in previous Cycle4Change events?
I'll talk about my one experience from last year. I would say it was one of the highlights of my year. Yeah, being able to participate and just see the lighter side of life, which is just getting on a bike with a lot of good people, just being able to actually impact some other people's lives by raising some money to help some people trying to make a difference in the communities.
Yeah, this one's a good one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the chafing after 300 kilometres?
How about go on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad's the chafing after 50 kilometres? I'm going to say that it gets to a point where it just all feels the same. So after day 1, yeah, no more pain.
I'm not ashamed to say it, but just coat up. Just get the jelly out. Just make it comfortable for yourself. All right, so go for it.
Just be careful on the deep heat though. Don't mix those tubes up.
True.
Is there much teamwork involved?
Yes. Essentially what we do is we end up grouping together because at the end of the day we all want to get to the same destination. We all want to have a good experience and that. So there's a real camaraderie that develops within the group, and that's one of the best things about being involved. What was the most rewarding part about completing the challenge?
Being able to challenge myself as far as riding for 4 days straight, because there's not many times in your life when you get to ride for 8 hours a day, 4 days in a row. So the physical challenge was definitely the most rewarding, but I really can't trump the nighttime fun and activities that was built with the other cyclists.
I think, like for me, like it's achieving something that you might not necessarily think that you can do. What becomes really rewarding is then being able to climb that mountain or finish a day that might be a really, really big day that you didn't think you had it in.
Please rate the following statement as either A, extremely inaccurate, B, somewhat inaccurate, or C, 100% spot on. I spent more on my bike than I would on an engagement ring. 100% spot on, that is, for the viewers, if you last. What kind of bike and other equipment would you recommend?
We do cover a fair bit of distance, so a road bike's preferable. You don't want to be trying to complete this on a mountain bike. Electric bike would be cheating. Make sure you have a helmet.
Gloves?
Oh,
my fingers almost froze on the first morning, so yeah, extra pair of gloves, particularly if it's in Tasmania this year.
What about you with your problems going up the hill this year?
Hey, what happens on camp stays on camp, remember?
So maybe just a spare tube or two, yeah?
Yeah, a spare tube, because sometimes you run over a few rough rocks. What's your most memorable moment to date? Memorable moment for me was, I think on night 1 of last year when we finished, and they brought in a team leader from one of the camps, a young girl, and she just spoke about her experience of challenges she faced in her life with her parents and going through foster care and not knowing where she belonged in the world, and I guess just hearing how the camp had affected her life and what the experience had done to give her the opportunity to be where she was at that time, and that was, in her exact words, just to be happy, which I think is something that we sometimes lose sight of when you're thinking about a tough bike ride and you're complaining about it, and then there's a lot of people who've got more issues than that going on. So that was probably my best moment. How often do you shave your legs, and is it more regularly than your partner?
No, this one's easy. I don't shave my legs. I think I was one of the few that didn't, proudly so.
I may have a razor at home to clean the legs up. Why get involved? What's in it for those who sign up?
So one of the stories from one of the events was from a child that came along to one of the camps. He was 8 years old from memory and he'd received his first toothbrush. Hearing stories like that of the kind of kids that we're supporting and we're fundraising for really hits home, and that's the kind of things that makes it, being part of something like this, much bigger, bigger than yourself. So, all right, that's it, done.
Cool.
Thanks.